This is Square Enix Resident Evil 5 Playoff Kai Sheva Alomar figure, and this is the Neca version. In the back there is the box, and you can see the images for Sheva along with Chris. And I got this from a random toy store in Chinatown of New York. It was on sale for $12. There was no quiz, but well, I was glad I got her for $12. This is the first time I've ever seen this figure in person, and I guess she was the unpopular one. That's why it was only $12. But anyway, I had to say that these Japanese figures are very well designed, and they really did a good job on it. And I had to say the look is very accurate, as well as posability and articulation. Everything about this figure is great, and the figure comes with a very well made stand. It has a base here that you can customize it however you want, as well as an articulated arm. Very cool. And before I go into the figure, I must warn you before you buy the Japanese figure, because they seem well with Square Enix. This is not my first Square Enix figure. The first one I got was a Final Fantasy figure, and as I was playing around with her, she broke. And this one didn't suffer from the same thing, but it had the potential to, and the figure seemed to be very weak. The joints are very loose. I had to tighten them with super glue. Even the plastic that they use seemed to be very fragile. So that is one thing you might want to be careful when playing with this figure. So anyway, let me show you the accessory that she came with. First one, this is the shotgun, and the name of this one is the Benelli M3 or the Super 90. This one in the game has a very high firepower, and it is very cheap to upgrade. And as you can see on the handle, there's a hole and to fit inside her hands. And second one, this is the Dragunov SVD. With this one you can shoot 2 shots in a row, but the scope of this one seems to shake more than the other sniper in the game. And the one that she's holding right now is the a handgun. It's called the Beretta M92F, and this is the standard issues for BSAA, and as well as a knife. So as I mentioned earlier, these weapons seem to have a hole in the handle because she has a peg inside her palm. I think this is a very wise idea that they put a peg there, so she can hold all kinds of weapons without her hand grip being too small or too big. I think they certainly solved the problem, because with NECA version of Resident Evil 5 figures, well, not with her, but NECA version of Chris Westfield, he couldn't hold the accessory very well, so that's kind of a bummer. But I guess Square Enix solved that problem with this, with their own version of Resident Evil 5. So let me take her off here, and let me talk about a little bit about the base. As I said before, you can customize the base however you want. It's had an articulated arm. There's a clip there that can open and close. There are 3 hinges on the arm, so you can level the thing however you want. It can swivel at the base, and on the base itself there are 5 holes, so you can put this arm wherever you want. That's really cool. And these toes, I guess, you can put it outside like that, or you can put it inside, however you want. Same thing with this one. So this is a really awesome bay and very productive, I had to say. If you just happen to buy this figure, make sure you be careful with the bays. You don't want to break them. You can sure use it for other figures you want to pose with. And this is her handgun. Very nice. And as well as a knife. As you can see, the handle on the knife is very small, and her hand grip is too big for the knife, but with the peg you can have her hold it like that. Awesome. And onto the figure, they Square Enix were able to get the detail very accurate. I have to say the head sculpt on this one is even more game accurate than on the Neca version. Even though looking from far away, you can see that around her eyes, it seemed that she had it looked like someone has punched both of her eyes, and she looked like she had black eyes. I think you can see that. And same thing with Chris. I can understand the reason why. Maybe they spray paint the figure, and I could say, all I could say is a factory error. They should have checked that out. Could be an error, or maybe they did that intentionally. I don't know. But anyway, they got the graphic on her shirt just fine, and even the her tattoo on on her left arm, earrings as well as necklace. They even have a connected cable from, I guess, her walkie-talkie up to this thing and up to her earpiece. So that is something not existed in the Neca version. So I mean, Square Enix really went all out with this figure. There's the thing, the holster is not glued together like this. I mean, these things are like separate. I had to use some super glue to glue them together so it can hold the pistol better. So make sure you do that if you wanna keep the holster, if you wanna keep the pistol in place. But anyway, let's move to the articulation. And with her head, she can move in all sorts of direction. There's a ball jointed head. There's a ball joint in the shoulder, swivel in the bicep, single hinge at the elbow. She has a ball jointed wrist, but it acts almost like a swivel wrist. There is a ball joint at her upper torso, another ball joint at her waist. There's a ball joint in the wrist. Oh no, at the hip. Swivel at the upper thigh, bend at 2 points at the knee, and she has a hinge ankle that can bend forward and back, as well as a swivel on her foot, so that it tilts like that. And probably the best thing about the design of this figure is probably her crotch. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong with that statement. I mean, what I mean is that the structure of her crotch, the inside is hard plastic, and the outside, Square Enix covered it with I guess rubber or some sort of rubbery material. It is very soft. And with the American figure, they use entirely hard plastic for the crotch. So with this one has a rubber cover, so that doesn't stop the thigh from, it doesn't hinder any thigh movement. So that is really big improvement. I really like that about Japanese figure. I mean they really went all out and trying to make the figure as posable as possible. So that's really cool. And let me give you one last 360 here. Too bad she doesn't have anything on her back to you know, to pack the weapon on her back. So that is one thing. That that is just one thing I don't like, is that you can't store the weapon on her back, just like in the games. So let me put her shotgun on so you guys can see it. And the drawback of having this pack on the palm is that she cannot like really grip onto the to the weapon, to the shotgun. So that looked really good. And final thought, I have to give credits to Square Enix for this, for doing such a great job with these guys. Well, Sheva is already good, so I don't know why she only cost me $12. But anyway, this Sheva is a really good figure. But if you prefer American figure, well, of course, with the American figure, they are not as posable as Square Enix version of it, but the plastic that they use are really strong and durable. So you know, it's up to you to decide which version you want to get. But if you decided to go with Square Enix, I am totally with you. I highly recommend this figure. If you love the posability, the accuracy of the figure, you know, she comes with the base as well as game accurate weapons. If you choose to buy her, I highly recommend it. This is still the best best version of Sheva I have ever seen. So it's nice that I got her on hand for only $12. I mean, that's really worth it. Too bad I couldn't find Chris. But anyway, for right now, I really don't know where you can find the Square Enix figure. Usually my local comic shop have these Japanese figure, but for some reason, Resident Evil 5 seem to have not existed. So anyway, probably you can get her online, maybe for about $40. Well, just get her if there's a sale or she's on clearance. Besides, $40 is probably way too much for people who are on a budget. But if there is a sale and you can afford it, go ahead and get her. I highly recommend it. This is a really well made figure. And thanks for watching.